Hi, you're listening to Everyday Superpower, a place where you can learn how to read body language and understand nonverbal communication. We keep it nice and simple so you can just apply it from the moment you finish this video and you finish listening. You'll be able to see what I speak about in your day-to-day communications with people from the get-go, alright? So it really is cool, it really is a human superpower. You really are able to read minds, alright, as well as be able to put yourself out there in the world as a better, more confident, bolder individual. If you do like what you hear, click like and click subscribe. Thank you. So today we're going to be talking in particular about men and the hands on the hip gesture for men, alright? So having the hands on the hips, also called arms akimbo, having the arms akimbo, and it's to display like a peacock, alright? It makes the body take up more space and in doing so appear larger as to assert dominance. Alright, you will see this here, there and everywhere, okay? People will do this to you and they won't know why they're doing it. Maybe you don't know why you do it when you do it until you listen to this video. But this is a very imposing body language. It's a very aggressive body language. Not so aggressive that it means that someone's going to attack you, but it's very territorial, okay? A man doesn't need to puff himself up and make himself seem larger unless he's potentially threatened or feels like he has to dominate those whom he's communicating with. It does happen very regular, and you are able to assess and read that person very easily, given that they do that to you. You know what I mean? You're able to think, wow, you're really trying to play this power game. So if you do it, I'd recommend, you apply it to the right circumstances, but don't necessarily do it. If you are a man listening to this, don't do it to another man too blatantly, purely is it's going to raise tensions. Okay? If you are the boss or if you're, an authority figure of some sorts, I suppose you have more right to do so. But, if you want your subordinates to see things eye to eye with you, it's not great, okay? So the arms are on the hip, the body expands, it's territorial behaviour as the individual takes up more space, and given that it's a man-to-man communication, it's a form of power display and, dominant display to put the other person in the defensive position. Now, if a man was to do this to a woman, it would have a different meaning, given that it's a heterosexual communication. So the man will do this to appear larger, to seem more oppressive to the woman, all right, more impressive to the woman. She might see him and think, oh wow, he's a big strong masculine man. And what comes with the hands on the hips is not necessarily the expansion of the size, but it's where the hands are based. So what you need to take into consideration, especially as well with the man doing it to the man, is that it's a genital display. So if the thumbs are in the pockets, the hands are going to be pointing, forming a diamond to the crotch. And even more so, if the hands are in the pockets and the thumbs are out, it's going to make an even more direct, precise, concentrated arrow to the crotch, okay, to the genital area. So it's a genital display. I assume that the person with their arms akimbo like this isn't going to be standing with their legs completely straight. They are going to have an expansive posture, and the legs are going to be taking up some space and have a little bit of width to them, so they'll have the legs spread to form a stronger foundation, whilst exposing the genitals and saying, I am masculine, I'm not afraid. I'm definitely not afraid because I'm exposing my torso, my chest, my genital area, my throat, my most sensitive places, which if I was discomforted, if you made me threatened or uncomfortable, I wouldn't be doing this because, I'd have to defend myself. My brain wouldn't allow me to do that. So take that into consideration. As far as the highlighting of the genital area, if a woman was to do this, rather so than the fingertips pointing towards the vagina, what it's going to be doing is pointing on the back, so that hands actually run across the arse, alright? The bum, yeah? The hands run across, pointing all the way down the glutes. and you know, accenting that feminine behind. All right. So that's the separation and the difference. It also comes across a little more inquisitive rather than authoritarian when that woman does that. All right. But if a woman was to do that to a man, yeah, there might be a degree of authority behind it, but it also can be considered a sexual display given that they're highlighting the hip to waist ratio and highlighting the bum. All right. So you have to read that appropriately. So yeah, the hands on the hips gesture is one of the ways that men puff out to appear more dominant and attractive to the opposite sex whilst repelling competition from the same sex. Any sort of clusters that may accompany would be, you know, like a strong upright posture. So the lower back will be in, whereas the chest will be propelled out. The chin will be up in sort of a, you know, looking down your nose sort of situation, a defiant sort of head gesture. The legs, as we mentioned, will be more or less at, you know, a bit wider than shoulder width. So I don't know if you exercise, but, you know, I'd say about squat width, just amount for a good squat, all right? And what that means is that you're grounded, you're sturdy, you know what I mean? You've got a great centre of whatever you would call it, a great centre field of weight. And that's about it really. So just to re-clarify, if you do this, just be careful. We do it from time to time. Sports people do it as well. So I think sports people have a different purpose to do so. If you're, let's say you're playing football and you've just been running up and down the field, doing so and creating this expansive position does open up the lungs to make it easier to breathe. So, you know, there is practical purposes to it as well. But that's more of a conscious decision, all right? And that's about it, you know. If it's a man versus a man, it's a bit of a square up, it's a bit of a genital display, and, you know, a bit of a dominant gesture to the other party. Two men could be both doing it to each other, mirroring each other in respect, yet also squaring each other up. Whereas if a man was to do it to a woman, you know, unless he's a bully, I assume it's due to a sexual context to highlight the genital area and to pronounce his masculinity and really accentuate on the shoulders, you know, the waist, the thighs, the genitals and the chest and so on and so forth. It really is quite a masculine dominant position. Anyway, moving on. I hope that was good. If you have any inquiries, feel free to leave a comment. Click like, click subscribe. Thank you for watching. Peace, one love.